It's been popular all over the world, but it's not just a singing competition show.
The Masked Singer isn't just a whodunit, this is a who sung it.
The show starts with 12 celebrities dressed in elaborate costumes, and we don't know who's under the mask. It could be an athlete or a singer.
People who are in broadcasting, could be a magician. The clues are everywhere, from their costumes to the packages.
You get invested right away because you want to be smart enough to know who's behind the mask.
Yes!
I think the panel is so fun.
We're really the voice of the audience at home.
I feel like I know that voice.
Another fun part of the show is these fascinating costumes that the celebrities have to wear.
The costumes are so ornate and beautiful.
And very unique. I haven't seen this type of stellar performance from a horse since the Kentucky Derby.
It's definitely surprising when you're completely wrong. I'm sure there's going to be people at home screaming, "Robin, I can't believe you can't tell who it is." And that's what makes it all-inclusive.
Starting right now, we're all detectives in a very big musical mystery to find out who's behind the mask.
Wednesday, a new show started on Fox. A total of 12 celebrities will perform behind a mask, and it's up to the audience to figure out who they are. The first episode starred 6 celebrities in full costumes. The concept of the show is interesting, although that alone doesn't have to mean anything. Within a day or two, believers were discussing whether or not Michael could have anything to do with it. There were 3 contestants who stood out: the Lion, the Monster, and the Peacock. So let's figure out one by one who they are, and if and how they might be of interest for believers. Let's start with the Lion.
I'm the Lion, and I'm here to roar. This is my chance for people to see me perform without any preconceived notions of who I am. Some might say I'm Hollywood royalty, but now I'm standing on my own, and I'm stepping away from my pride to sing my heart out. I don't see a lion as just brave and courageous. True strength comes from embracing all your vulnerabilities. So here I am behind this mask, and I'm going to show my true self for the very first time.
In my pride, there are lots of women.
The Lion has to be Rumor Willis. How can we tell? Rumor was born on August 12th, making her a Leo. She also had a big lion tattoo on her left arm, which she has had removed. Rumor won Dancing with the Stars Season 20, which explains the dance moves the lion makes. Rumor is a very gifted singer, check her out on YouTube. Her parents are Bruce Willis and Demi Moore, both good for a long list of blockbuster movies and awards, so definitely Hollywood royalty. Rumor has many women in her pride. She has 2 sisters and 2 half-sisters. Although I am sure Michael watches Die Hard at least once a year, I don't see a link to Michael or any of the other Jacksons. Let's move on to the Monster.
I am the monster, because that's what the world labeled me. I'm here to rewrite my mixtape, to prove that I'm more than just puff and fluff. I was at the top of my game, but the game turned on me. So I retreated into my cave, take a break from the public eye. But now I'm here to set the record straight. And show the world that no one can stop me from doing what I love. So stay tuned. Because this monster is bad.
Are you a professional singer?
Not to everyone.
The Monster has to be Bobby Brown. Why? Bobby Brown is often labeled as a monster by the world and accused of being one of the people who ruined Whitney. Bobby has a big gap in between his teeth, just like the Monster. Mixtapes and the Ghetto Blaster are clues he was already around in the 80s. Bobby Brown was on the top of his game in the 80s and 90s, yet his career fell apart due to drug use, violent behavior and his failed marriage to Whitney. Bobby took a break from the public eye. He hasn't been doing much the past decade. Bobby is not a professional singer to everyone, some only know him for his troubled marriage to Whitney. The song by the Hippo, who performed right before Monster, Was My Prerogative by Bobby Brown. Although Bobby has claimed he taught Michael the moonwalk, I don't see a real link of significance here. Lastly, the Peacock.
I chose to become the Peacock because we both share a love of the spotlight. When I was 5 years old, I walked onto a stage for the first time. And from that day on, I was hooked. Putting on a show is in my DNA. But it's probably been a while since your mom had a poster of me on her bedroom wall. As my dear friend Michael Jackson once told me, if you're going to reinvent yourself, you have to become someone the world has never seen before. So here goes. It's never too late for this showman to make a comeback.
This one is 100% Donny Osmond. We can tell because the clues are clear as day. Just like Michael, Donny has been in showbiz since he was 5 years old. The Peacock's outfit and the playing cards are hinting to Vegas, where Donny has a show with his sister Marie. The Peacock plays piano, and so does Donny Osmond. It's been a while since your mother had a poster of him on their bedroom wall. So the Peacock is not the youngest anymore, and Donny turned 61 in December. Donny and Michael were good friends, and I think they still are. Donny had a big hit called Puppy Love. We see the Peacock pet a ceramic puppy. I believe Donny knows about the hoax. They may even be in contact still. I think he is one of Michael's very few real friends. I have been trying to figure out why he wears a peacock costume. The only thing that might link to Donny is that Donny is a Mormon, and there was some Mormon guy with Peacock as his last name who settled in Utah back in the 1800s, and Donny also lives in Utah. I believe that is a bit too far-fetched though, because I don't believe the clues should be that deep. Who knows though? For Christians, the peacock is a symbol of resurrection. The peacock is also featured on the back of the Jacksons' albums Destiny and Triumph. The song choice connecting to Barnum and The Greatest Show on Earth and talking about a comeback of a showman, while Donny is still very much active as a showman, really gave me a hoaxy vibe. So there is absolutely a big link here. Here is Donny talking about Michael. Listen carefully to what he says at the end.
One of the songs is a song you were supposed to sing a while back, but never got a chance, Ben.
Michael Jackson. His first #1 solo record, Ben, was written for me. And I didn't know this, neither did Mike. So years after it became a hit, I was talking to one of the writers, and he said, yeah, we wanted you to sing that, Donny, but you were on tour with your brothers, and you were unavailable. We had to finish this movie. It's about a rat. You know, I don't know if you ever saw it. It's a terrible movie, but it was a great song. And so the producer said, well, there's this little kid named Michael Jackson. He's got a high voice. Let's get him to sing. He's available. And it became Michael's first #1 solo record. And Mike and I, we had the greatest time talking about it because he says, you know, what's funny, Donny, is that you had a hit about a puppy with Puppy Love, and I had a hit about a rat with Ben.
Well, you and Michael have history, and he's given you advice over the years,
oh,
right?
Yeah, I miss him. I really miss him because he told me something one time, and this is before he took off into the stratosphere of superstardom. Because back in the early 70s, it was the Jacksons and the Osmonds. It was Michael and Donny, and we were kind of like parallel, and we'd always have fun looking at each other over the fence. What are you doing? What are you doing? And he said something to me one time. He said, you know, Donny, you are the only person on this planet that understands exactly what I went through in my childhood. And I said, you know what, Mike? Vice versa. Our families are so similar. I mean, I wouldn't compare my dad to Joe Jackson, but 9 children in both families. Both Mike and I were the 7th child of 9. Our mother's birthdays are on the same day. I mean, it just keeps going and going and going. And we just had the greatest conversations about life. And I miss him. So this singing Ben was a... Oh, I just remembered something. This is pretty interesting. The vocal booth that I recorded all these songs in is in my dressing room. It's just right off the side of the stage that we perform on in Vegas. There's a Michael Jackson impersonator that performs on there once in a while. I was singing Ben, and after I got finished, I realized Michael Jackson's on stage. If you could isolate my vocal on that song, you could hear Beat It in the background.
Oh my God, if only they had like a little boom mic above your vocal studio.
Yeah. I mean, it was just kind of like, chills went up my back when I finished this. This is weird. I just sang Ben and Michael Jackson impersonators right on stage.
Well, you were very close with Michael Jackson, and he gave you career advice, vice versa. He said that you understood what he was going through, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Did you talk to him near the time of his death?
I did, actually. Well, not near. It was about a year. And it's a pretty interesting story. He called me, and he said, Donny, do you have just a few minutes to talk? And I said, sure, for you anytime. I said, where are you? And he says, I can't tell you. I said, Mike, you're talking to me here. Where are you? He said, please don't tell anybody. But I rented one of those big custom buses, those touring buses, and I took my kids, and we're hiding in Phoenix right now. And hiding from the press, because everything hit the fan. And I said, why don't you do me a favor, Mike? You're a 9-hour drive from my home in Utah. Bring your kids. No one will know you're here. Just swim in the swimming pool. Have a little normalcy in your life. And he said, you know what, Donny? I think I'm going to do that. And he never did. That's the last time I talked.
Add to that the quote from Michael that Donny shared. If you're going to reinvent yourself, you have to become someone the world has never seen before. And I couldn't help but notice the similarity of the stage setup with Michael's Dangerous album cover. Do you believe it's a hoax, Glue, or do you think there is nothing to see here? Let me know in the comments.